Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mag, and we are going to do a series of shaves for you. I've been talking about this series for a while, and I'm going to call it Shaving America. Now we're going to do a bunch of shave hauls, and we're going to bring you new products, and we're going to try new things. We're going to talk about different shaving techniques, etc. But I want to try to do something different, and I know a lot of you viewers out there are outside of the United States. Heck, some of you don't even get to tour even within the United States. Maybe one state over or two. Some of you don't get to travel at all for work. Some of you do. And we can make this a good discussion forum for people who like to point out some good travel tidbits to different states. And I was able to go through the internet and find a couple different references to scents that are accrued in each state. And I figured, maybe I can bring those scents in the form of a shave cream or a shave soap, and I could do a shave with it, review the products, but also give you some feedback on the different states within America. And hopefully that will be entertaining for you. And the first state that I'm going to do a shave for is Missouri. That was the state flag for Missouri. So we're going to talk a little bit about the state of Missouri, and I'm going to go through some of the shave products that we're going to use today. To start things off, for the state of Missouri, I was able to find different scents, and I'm going to try to bring you a unique scent for each state that I do. I may repeat some because there's overlap between states. And some scents are very difficult to find in a cream or a soap. I've done well so far. You've seen my haul video. All of the different scents are going to match to a different state. So for the state of Missouri, and I have some notes down here, they had bergamot, lime, rose, and lilac was the popular scents from the state of Missouri. So out of all of those, I picked rose. And we are going to use Taylor of Old Bond Street Rose. So we're going to mix it up in the fine lather bowl. We're going to use for the razor the Regiment standard issue, and inside we have a Wilkinson sword from Gillette. This is the Saloon pack. And I have soaking in the cappuccino bowl. This is the YooSoo Badger brush. So we're going to use that to lather with today. And we are going to do a bit of a pre-shave because I have a few days growth, so we're going to use the Hagen Pre-shave Oil. After we're all done, we're going to just get some toner on there. We're going to use some Humphreys Organic Rose Witch Hazel, and then we'll top it off with some Afta Aftershave. Okay, so I'm going to wet the face and we'll be right back for the Missouri shave. I have the Hagen Pre-shave Oil on. I have some rose from Tobbs in the fine bowl. I have the YooSoo brush all shook out, and then we're going to get to building a lather. Now, many of you guys may know this, and some of you may not, but Missouri has a state song called the Missouri Waltz, which I do sound systems as kind of like a side job, so that's something that I've played on more than one occasion for weddings, parties, mainly something at the request of the older generation, but there are some young kids, that are dance majors or what have you, or some people that just like to get out there and cut a rug, if you wanted to say, or waltz. Now, the interesting thing about Missouri is that the state was named after a tribe of Sioux Indians called the Missouris. And that I didn't know that they were called that. Now many times it's mistranslated, the Missouris in the native language as muddy water. However, the word actually means town of large canoes. Oh, look at this. Look at this Tobbs, man. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful lather. This fine bowl holds a great amount of lather. It allows it to be mixed easily. I'm just gonna do a touch of some more water in there. Oh, the rose scent is just fantastic. Now, I don't know about you, but on my television there's been a lot of activity with Democrats and Republicans. I mean, they're starting to line up, getting ready for the next presidency. And it's interesting because another little tidbit of Missouri, I don't know if you know this or not, and maybe you can watch some debates and find out. But if you're running for office, you know, presidency or governor, and you're not subject to just a little small town within Missouri somewhere, that the speeches that the candidates deliver mispronounce or have multiple pronunciations for the state of Missouri. And that's just to appease the different generations that grow up there or had grown up there. So Missouri may be pronounced Missouri with an extension of an E on the end. And some folks may say Missouri, but if you pay close attention to their speeches, they actually say Missouri and Missouri both within their speech just to appease the different generations. And that's pretty cool. Okay, so we got great peaks. We got a ton of lather here, and I'm probably going to need it because I have many days of growth. So we'll just put on the old shaving cream. I could smell that rose scent. Very nice. Very nice. Well, I hope everything is going well with all of you. I know that it's been some time since we brought you a shave. Yes, I did shave. I just haven't filmed it, recorded it, tried to come up with different ideas. How did I want to do this series? What would be beneficial to you? What would be interesting to you? So, I had to think about it. A couple trial runs. So I'm glad that I finally am able to do this because I was waiting for the longest time for the products to come in. And mainly because I didn't know the order of the states that I wanted to do, and I had to kind of map out what scents to what state. And I have probably 40 of the 52 states kind of benchmarked for a scent already, so that's good. But this is the only one with rose that we're going to share today. Now there are other states that had a rose scent, but we're not going to do rose for those. At least not as it sits now anyway. Okay. So I did not know this doing the research, but Missouri is known for its caves. It's got like 6,000 caves. In fact, doing the research, there was a cave restaurant that was once open. It's closed down since, and I don't want to share anything with you guys because if you take a trip there and you want to go eat in a cave restaurant, it's not available anymore. But it was pretty cool that they actually had an underground restaurant inside a cave. And I guess it was popular for quite some time, and I can't remember when it shut down, maybe within the last 5 years, something like that, 8 years. So, okay, Saloon pack, Gillette Wilkinson sword, and the Regiment standard issue. Let's get to shaving. My face is going to feel so good getting this hair off it. Oh, let me tell you. It's starting to get muggy up here in the Northeast. So you're outside doing yard work, what have you. if you don't keep your face clean. And at least for me anyway, dirt likes to creep into the hair, and that's where you get the old pimples. But I've been so busy, I just haven't had time to actually film. So I grab my stuff and do a quick 1, 2, 3 shave, one pass, or 2 quick passes. Just haven't had the time. Rinse off this here. Alright, so one of the biggest things for Missouri is the Louisiana Purchase. Some of you may be history buffs, but some of you may be from a younger generation, and I don't know about you guys, but my daughter is she just graduated 4th grade. She's going into 5th grade, and they don't necessarily do social studies in school anymore. So maybe it's not until the upper grades, but how do you learn about your pastime? You know what I mean? So the Louisiana Purchase was just what it sounded like. It was a purchase of states, mainly in Middle America, from the French. In fact, Napoleon. And that was in 1803. So I'm going to put up a map of the Louisiana Purchase, and it's going to show you that the purchase itself consisted of 15 different states that are currently part of America today. And then there's, I gotta look at my notes here, 2 provinces from Canada that were part of the purchase. And you'll see, it'll be shaded in green, and you'll see that the purchase totally engulfed a number of states, large portions of others, and then a small amount within Canada. But here, have a look at the picture. So that included the entirety of Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska, large portions of North Dakota, South Dakota, areas of Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Minnesota, New Mexico, Texas, and Louisiana. I mean, from north to south, straight across. It's almost like you're just cutting the United States in half, and it's a big chunk of the middle of the country. So in the 2 provinces were Alberta and Saskatchewan. But those of you that haven't had a chance to learn about that in school, and if you're not a history major, I don't know if they actually talk about that anymore. Because what would be history to perhaps you or I, being we're generations removed from that, our kids' history wouldn't go back that far. It'd go back to like when the space shuttle took off and all that sort of stuff, which was post, our schooling. So our history is a little bit different than our kids, but it's some good information that I think tends to get lost a little bit as we skip generation after generation of history, right? You can't teach everything. How far back do you go, Okay, so that was pretty good, but we're going to need another pass. Got a little pimple there, but I'm going to do a quick rinse and we'll be right back. I cleaned off. I got a little bit of water on the face, so let's get the brush, which is full of lather, and we'll get to lathering up again. Oh, that scent is so nice and relaxing. So those of you that are out in California, oh, look at that, a big clump of lather, are prone to earthquakes. But Missouri also shares in the earthquake arena. In fact, 4 of the largest earthquakes had hit Missouri. In fact, it registered an 8.0. So, devastating. I can't imagine how it is. I mean, we get snowstorms up here, you know, but a snowstorm is not as damaging as an earthquake. You know, maybe a little wind, things blow over. You have to worry about frostbite and freezing, but when everything shakes vigorously, and you have things falling all over the place, buildings crumbling. I mean, that's a lot to process, you know. And there's a lot of rebuild when the snowstorm is all done. Just wait for it to melt. Of course, you do have to worry about floods and things, but so I found that to be interesting. That let's see, it says here. December of 1811 to February of 1812 in New Madrid, Missouri. That's where 4 of the largest earthquakes in North American history happened. Now, Missouri being down south, it was a slave state. So in 1865, Missouri became the first state to free its slaves. So that was another big topic that I'm sure doesn't get taught as deep in today's school system. All about the slavery, the Civil War. So I try to enlighten my daughter with bits of information that are important. I mean, it is American history, but so many things today are based on that era. And instead of asking why and pointing them to a book, which is still a good idea, I try to educate them as to why. There we go. Here's something that you might not have known. Aunt Jemima pancake flour was invented in St. Louis in 1889. First ready mix food to ever be sold commercially. So, they have a dig. Take that, Betty Crocker. So if you go travel to Missouri, have to have some pancakes. All right. Little weeper right there in the corner. Pleasant smell. I do enjoy this rose scent. Okay. So in 1904, the World's Fair was in St. Louis, and it introduced to the masses a number of new treats, new foods. It included the waffle cone, cotton candy, iced tea, and Dr. Pepper. So go figure. Dr. Pepper's been around since 1904. Now the fair was officially named the Louisiana Purchase Exposition. So the fair was meant to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Louisiana Purchase. So I dug around and I found a picture, kind of like, you know, from the olden days, advertising like the fair. So have a look. Now, also from 1904, St. Louis hosted the Olympics. Get this, finish cleaning off the neck here. Pass 2. There we go. It was the Summer Olympics. So, I'll bring this up here so you can at least see my face. It was the first Olympic Games ever held in the U.S. and at the same time as the World's Fair. So they coincided with each other. It was athletes that had competed for 4.5 months with one event each day of the fair. So that was a very long Olympics. Only 42 of the 91 events actually included competitors from other countries. And the crazy part was the marathon. Almost half of the runners got heat stroke. And the first place winner cheated by hitching a car ride from mile 9 to mile 19. So most of the people dropped out because they got heat stroke, and the winner actually, cheated for 10 miles, which is interesting. Okay, so we're going to have to go against the grain up here on the cheeks. Yeah, right here. We'll cross the grain on the neck. Okay, so let's go. Rinse off real quick there. All right. Put some water back on the face. I didn't know this either, but the first successful parachute jump from a moving plane was made above Jefferson Barracks military post near St. Louis, Missouri, and that happened March 1st, 1912. Says here, Army Captain Albert Berry climbed to 1,500 feet, and before positioning himself on a trapeze bar attached to the front of the plane, his parachute, which was stored in a conical pack attached to the harness, and jumped. Air and Space magazine reports Berry saying upon landing, "Never again. I believe I turned 5 somersaults on my way down. My course downward was like a crazy arrow." Berry completed his second jump on March 10th. So, never again, and then right back up. But that's perfection, right? Someone had to do it. Someone had to relay how to do it. So there you go. First parachute jump. I don't know if any of you guys are as busy as me, but I've been really eyeballing the robotic mowers, the lawn mowers. Oh, big chunk of lather there. Now, before you get on the bandwagon, positive or negative, I do have a robot vacuum, the Neato, if you must know, and it works great. And I've been looking at these robotic mowers for some time because my yard is not big enough for a riding mower. Just not big enough. And once we do some work in the backyard, it definitely won't be big enough for a riding mower. But I need time. And the best way that I can get some is to trade for something else. And if I don't have to cut the grass, especially on the weekends when I can have some more family time, what have you, time to bring you shaves. I've been looking at the robotic lawnmower, so if any of you have some out there, let me know what you think. I've been looking at the Husqvarna, if that's how you say it, and the Steel. Robo, I think is it. And those are the two brands that I think I'm zeroed in on. The other ones don't necessarily give me a lot of confidence. But I'm interested in doing that. So what else do we have to share with you today? Let's see. We're We're almost done with this shave. Missouri is also the home of the most destructive tornado in U.S. history. The Tri-State Tornado, which set down on March 18th, 1925. Many people were injured or perished, and an estimated 15,000 homes were demolished. The most powerful earthquake to strike the United States occurred in 1811, centered in New Madrid. We already talked about the earthquakes. The quake shook more than 1 million square miles and was felt as far as 1,000 miles away. That is a big earthquake. Okay, let's go against the grain on the cheeks here. I've seen them in action, the robo mowers, and they seem pretty cool. They look like they work, otherwise I wouldn't be interested. And a little rudimentary compared to the robotic vacuums and the sensors and whatnot. You still need to do a cable, put a cable buried or laid across the grass, because that's how the lawnmower knows where to stop and turn around. That may change. Somehow you may, and now they have the GPS locators and stuff like that, so you may be able to program GPS and kind of like do an outline on the internet or something and show the robot where to go, where not to go, and then via satellite, instead of burying a cable, it can, you know, learn its way around the yard. But I think that they do pretty good. They're a bit up there in price. You know, newer technology still, for us anyway. You guys in Europe, you've had this for a while. In fact, we're trying to play catch up. It must work, or there must be enough demand for it, otherwise they wouldn't sell a bunch of them. All right. So here's another fact that I wanted to talk about. The Jefferson National Expansion Memorial. How can we talk about Missouri and St. Louis and not talk about the arch, right? So this consists of a gateway arch, the Museum of the Westward Expansion. It's St. Louis's old courthouse is right there as well. So during a nationwide competition in 1947 to 48, inspired design of a 630-foot stainless steel arch was chosen as a perfect monument to the Spirit of the West pioneers. Construction for the arch began in 1963 and was completed on October 28, 1965. The arch had foundations sunken 60 feet into the ground and is built to withstand earthquakes and high winds. It sways up to 1 inch in a 20-mile-an-hour wind and is built to sway up to 18 inches. So I have some photographs of the arch itself, and they positioned it so when you look through it, you like look into the westward expansion. So I like the night picture. That's pretty cool. In fact, I was there. I'm a Rams fan. And me and my friend visited St. Louis, so I got to go up in the arch. In fact, there's an elevator that goes 3/4 of the way up, and then it stops because it gets too narrow, and the skinny elevator can't go any higher. And then you take some stairs, and the actual top of the arch is actually a bridge with windows that you can look out, and you walk up some stairs, and then you could walk across the bridge. So it's pretty neat. It's pretty high. Okay, let's go across the grain on the neck. This will be pass 3. Now we can call this shave done. Oh yeah, very nice. Yep. Very good. All right. So Missouri is the major center for beer brewing. So if you love beer, go to Missouri. Just drying off the face. No soap in the ears. Those of you that are horse lovers or horse owners, you know that the Missouri Foxtrotter is from Missouri. That's big horse, big horse. All right, so we're going to use some Humphreys toner. In fact, I could tell that that was a close shave as I was rinsing off a few little pinchies, but put some toner on. Close them right up. Yeah. This organic rose pairs well with the rose scent from Taylor of Old Bond Street. Okay. And then we have some Afta. Put some cream moisturizer back in the skin. There we go. So there's a place in Missouri called Nixa, I think, yes? Nixa, Missouri, yes. And they have, well, now they have what's called a sucker festival. And a sucker is a type of fish. And it basically does exactly what it sounds. You know, it kind of swims on the bottom and it sucks up a lot of the organisms and life that live down near the bottom of creeks and streams, etc. So here is a link that I'll put right here on the website, and this link will take you to a page that talks all about the Nixa Sucker event. So I find it interesting that businesses will close, schools will close, and basically the whole town shuts down, and there's a bunch of people. You can go to Nixa for this event. In fact, there's one coming up in 2020. Plan some travel, and you can go and participate and catch yourself a sucker. But that's it for my shave, and that's all the facts that I had to throw out there for Missouri. There's plenty more. I just wanted to bring something to you, some education, some fun talking points, and I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to look to do all of the states eventually. We'll get there. We'll try some new products. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and thank you very much for your subscriptions. It means a lot to me. And certainly give us a thumbs up if you liked the video. Give us some comments. Let us know what you think about doing a review of all the states for a series. And if you want to add anything, if you're from Missouri, visited Missouri, please add some comments and let our viewers know different tidbits of information. We can make this a family-friendly forum that people could talk about. Or you can go to my Facebook channel, or you can tweet at me, and you can put some links to some places in Missouri for the readers out there. And you know, we appreciate all of your feedback. Thank you very much again, and we'll talk to you in the next shave. All right, bye for now.